So there are many incidents in the mines which eventually leads to different type of disasters. In mines, particularly in underground coal mines, there are different type of incidents which take place leading to disastrous condition. So any incident originating out of following events are termed as disasters, mine disasters, where 10 or more people either are either lost or seriously affected mine. So the outbreak of fire in an underground mine, if there is a fire, if there is a fire in an underground mine, it will also become a very disastrous condition. And if there is sudden influx of noxious gases in the underground workings, you know that in the underground mines, there are different type of noxious gases are present. One of them is your methane gas or any other type of noxious gases which may suddenly come strata and which can become a danger to the people working inside the mine. So which will lead to methane explosion or coal dust explosion. And if there is a sudden inrush of water, flooding of mine will take place in the unconsolidated strata in the mine. And if there is premature and uncontrolled collapse of any part of the working below ground or in open cast mine, that will also lead to a disaster. And in underground mines, subsidence take place. Whenever you take out the coal from the mine, whenever you take out the coal from the mine, from the underground mine, so the void is this void, this void, this void can be a great problem. Void can be a great problem in the underground mines, and subsidence will take place. And accidental or unintentional detonation of the explosive will take place, and uncontrolled flow of material or fluid from mineral stack, overburden dump, or tailing pond. So these are the different type of disasters which will take place in the mines. So the disasters are like explosion, inundation, roof fall, side fall, fire, coal mine fire. These are the different type of disasters: explosion, inundation, fall of roof and sides, all other causes. So it is a matter of concern for the mining authority to deal with the disasters. So disasters in the mines are repeating on an average once in 2 years. So there are various causes of major accidents leading to disasters are changing in the mines. In the last 16 years, disasters and major accidents due to slope and dump failure in open cast mines also increased. So therefore, the existing rescue and recovery protocols are inadequate to deal with newer causes. So this is the new trend of disasters, major accidents due to bench and dump failure in open cast mines. So let us analysis of previous rescue operations undertaken in mines during disaster. So I have told you that if any disaster is going to take place, then the rescue members will come for rescue operation. So let us analyze the previous year's rescue operations undertaken in mines during a disaster. So the mine managements failed to put emergency plan in operation. So therefore, every mine should have an emergency plan to deal with the disasters in the mines. Action plan was not prepared properly and promptly, leading to delayed response. So in the mines, so if you are not having a proper action plan, then you cannot take any prompt response. Response time was the key in rescue operation. Lack of trained and experienced people were there in the mines. Absence of equipments, your uh, uh, rescue equipments, lack of adequate rescue equipments of desired capacity at proper place was not available. Communication system was not proper, and database of relevant information was inadequate. So these are the different problems faced during rescue operation in the previous years. Discipline and orders were swept away by sympathy and emotion, leading to chaos and disorder. So these are the problems. So if any disaster is going to take place in your minds, then you have to immediately respond. What is the philosophy behind immediate response? So your aim is to preserve the life. Nobody should be allowed to die inside the mine at the time of any disaster. So you have to preserve the life of the people. Life of the people is very, very important. Then you have to minimize the potential harm to the persons. You have to minimize the potential harm to the persons. Nobody should be injured inside the mine. You should prevent deterioration of the conditions, mining conditions, and you should promote recovery. The mining activities should be recovered after the incident has taken place. So in if any accident has taken place in your mines, the first hour is very, very important. The first hour is very, very important. So during the first hour, you have to identify and assess the location of the incident where it has taken place. What is the extent of damage it has caused? What is the consequence you are going to face? What are the different causes of the incident and disaster? What are the effects of the disaster? These things you have to first analyze. This includes identification of possible places where the survivors are trapped. So if the incident has taken place, some people might have trapped inside the mine. So you have to identify the places where the survivors are trapped. Available escape routes. So how to take out the people from the mines? What are the routes available with levels of risk you have to analyze? What are the safe places available in the mine? You have to find out. You have to find out the refuge chambers in the vicinity of the incident. Then you have to find out the status of ventilation, whether the ventilation fan is running or not. What is the status of ventilation, and what is the possible corrective action you can take? All these things are to be identified during the first hour of the incident. Then you have to go for identification and assessment of inputs required to fight the situation. You have to identify and assess the inputs required to fight the situation. If any accident has taken place, you have to fight, and for that purpose, you have to identify and assess the inputs required for fighting the incident. And what are the action plan? What action to be taken for mobilization of the resources that is to be assessed, that is to be also assessed. Then the rescue team members, they have to arrive to your mining location. So arrival of rescue teams in the shortest possible time. So during the first hour, you have to call the rescue team members so that they can arrive to your mine within a short period of time, and they have to start possible rescue operation. Then effective communication system for establishing contact with rescue services, and you have to go for technical experts, administrative machinery, and underground personnel. So this is the job you have to carry out during the first hour of your incident. Then you have to start the rescue and recovery work. So let us see what is rescue and recovery practices in Indian mines. So there is a rule which is called your Mines Rescue Rule 1984 or 1985. You have to act according to this rule. Mines Rescue Rule is promulgated by the Indian government. So you have to follow the rules and regulations given in the Mines Rescue Rules 1984. It is applicable to underground mines only. So this Mines Rescue Rule is only applicable to underground coal mines and includes not only the coal mines, underground metal mines also. And it includes the protocols for dealing with inhospitable atmospheres in an underground mine. Okay. Then these rules provide that management of a mine or a group of mines must set up a rescue station and rescue rooms depending on employment for their mines or group of mines. So such rescue rooms, so there should be a rescue room and rescue station. So the rescue rooms and rescue station shall have permanent rescue trained people along with surplus self-contained breathing apparatus. So these self-contained breathing apparatuses are necessary for the rescue people to go inside the mine. So while carrying out the rescue and recovery work inside the mine, the mine managements are required to train interested young workers in the rescue practices. So the people who are working inside your mine, the workers, you should train them for rescue operation. So mine managements are required to train those who are interested to carry out rescue and recovery work. You have to train them. The young worker. Why the young worker? Because they can work hard. The old people cannot work very hard. That is why you have to select the young workers working in your mines and you have to give them training so that they can carry out the rescue and recovery work whenever emergency situation arises in your mines. So you have to give them initial refresher training. So I have told that to become a rescue team member, initial training of 20 hours is to be given to the people. And after that, 96 hours of refresher training is to be given so that they understand the method of rescue and recovery. So the initial and refresher training of rescue trained workers has focused on rescue operation in hazardous mines atmosphere. So the initial training and refresh training which is given to the rescue trained people, say they will have the knowledge to carry out the rescue operations in hazardous mine atmosphere conditions. So therefore, a mine management may seek assistance or additional assistance as the case may be from the nearest rescue room or rescue station. And in such an event, all possible assistance shall be promptly rendered by the rescue room or rescue station. And the owner of the mine shall pay to the owner of the rescue station or rescue room rendering such assistance the full cost of rescue operation which is being carried out in the mines. So nearby to your mine, there may be a rescue station or a rescue room is there. So you have to contact them in case of any accident in your mines. They will come and carry out the rescue and recovery work, and for that purpose, you have to pay them. Okay. So let us see the mine rescue practices which are carried out in the Indian mines. So according to the Mine Rescue Rules 1984, which was framed in pursuance of provisions contained in subsections R, S, SA, SB, TUG of Section 58 of the Mines Act 1952. So we are having a Mines Act 1952. According to this Mines Act, this Mines Rescue Rule is framed. So according to this Mine Rescue Rule, you have to prepare and implement the emergency plans. So you have to prepare the emergency plan and you have to implement the emergency plan by the mine management of every underground mine in the country was made mandatory So, so the emergency response, the philosophy of emergency response, the philosophy of emergency response. So, because the minds, whenever they face any emergency situation, any disaster, explosion, inundation, fire in your minds, then it is called a emergency situation. So you have to respond to the emergency situation. What is the philosophy behind emergency response? You know that as per the responsibilities of each mine official and key personnel is explicitly defined in the emergency plan. In order to avoid contradictory orders and confusion at the time of emergency. That is why it is necessary that you should prepare an emergency plan. Emergency plan. Okay. So this emergency plan, according to this plan, you have to carry out the rescue operation. So the duties and responsibilities of each mine official and key personnel is explicitly defined in the emergency plan. Everything is defined in the emergency plan in order to avoid contradictory orders and confusion at the time of emergency. So you have to carry out the mock rehearsals. Mock rehearsals is to be undertaken regularly for assessing the efficacy of the plan, and same is supplemented if needed in future. So from time to time, the rescue trained people, they have to carry out the mock rehearsals. Even if there is no accident in your minds, the rescue trained people, they have to carry out mock rehearsal whether they are prepared to meet the emergency or not. So mock rehearsal is nothing but a uh, uh, nothing but a rehearsal where you have to carry out the similar job as carried out by the rescue team members. So the mock rehearsal is to be undertaken regularly at every month or every 6 months. You have to carry out mock rehearsals for assessing the efficacy of the plan, the emergency plan, whether it is efficient or not. That is to verify. You have to carry out the mock rehearsals, and same is to be supplemented if needed. If the emergency plan is not properly prepared, then you can supplement the lacuna which you found during the mock rehearsals. So emergency plan is put in operation by the senior most official present in the mine at the time of emergency. So the emergency plan is necessary to be keep put in operation by the senior most official, by the general manager of the mine present in the mine at the time of emergency. If any emergency situation arises in your mines, then this emergency plan is to be put. So this emergency plan is put in operation by the senior most official, the mines manager, the general manager present in the mine at the time of emergency. At the time of emergency, the senior most mining officers should be present to implement the emergency plan. There is a control room. A control room is set up on the surface of the mine, where the mines manager, general manager, mine superintendent will present there. A control room is set up on the surface of the mine. Control room is placed under the charge of an experienced and pre-decided mine officer. So the control room will be in charge of a mine official. This control room in charge is fully aware of the duties and responsibilities attached with the operation of the control room. He should be well acquainted with the rescue operations which is being carried out in the mines. So let us see the effectiveness of mine control room. What is a mine control room? So information content and flow in and out of keeping, availability of competent monitoring, interpreting personnel, verification of missing persons, location of persons, monitoring of ventilation, emergency communication, availability of plans, documented action plan, use cards, hazards identification, all these control. So there is a self-escape facilities and strategy. How to escape from effective performance of self-contained breathing apparatus, a sample usage, location and use of caches, changeover stations, alternate escape routes, knowledge of effectiveness of signage and other aids, contact time, control of personnel location, availability of plants, machinery, transport, communication. So these are the self-escape routes available. So then what is aided escape? Means aided escape carried out by the rescue team members. What are the facilities and strategies needed for the location of the trapped person is to be determined first. Where the people are trapped inside the mine, the location should be determined first. Contract made with trapped persons, contact made with trapped persons. You should have communication with the trapped persons, arrival of external assistance from the rescue team members, organization of mine rescue station and substation, then arrival of rescue teams, external assistance, availability of plants, equipment, apparatus, and material, effectiveness of briefing and debriefing, dispatching teams below ground to the underground mines, compliance with the designated underground task force, compliance with safe operating procedures, and mine rescue guidelines, team reporting and debriefing is to be carried out. Then deployment time of the team members. So these are the jobs to be carried out for the aided escape by the rescue team member. So while the rescue and recovery work is being carried out in Indian mines, so there are some gaps between current day needs and existing rescue and recovery practices in India. So employment in mines because of the mechanization, the number of people employed in the mines has come down. Employment in mines have shrunk because heavy mechanization, because of big equipments used in the mines. And average age of workmen in an underground mine has gone up. Average age of workmen in an underground mine has gone up. Majority jobs have been outsourced. So the people who are employed in the mines, they are not doing their job. It is outsourced to the contractor, and contract workers replaced the regular employees working in the mines. Existing rescue protocol existed only for the underground mines. There is no rescue protocol available for the open cast mines. And nowadays, a lot of open cast mining operations are being carried out. Rescue trained persons are not equipped with skills necessary for rescue and recovery operation at places other than underground mines. So these rescue trained people are not equipped with skill. They don't have the necessary knowledge and skill for rescue and recovery operation at places other than the underground mines. So these are the gaps between the present day needs and existing rescue and recovery practices in Indian. So these gaps are like affordability for small mine owners. So if a small mine owner is there, suppose a small private mine owner is there, he do not have enough money, he do not have enough manpower, or he do not have enough resources to carry out the rescue operation in the mines. They cannot afford. This small mine owners, a small mine owner, a small mine contractor, a small mine operator is not capable of doing the rescue operation in case of any accident which may take place in their mines, and maintenance of equipment for use during emergencies. The equipments which are to be maintained for the emergency situation, so are lacking. Maintenance of equipment for use during emergency. The different type of equipments which are used during the emergency situation, during the hazard situation, during the disaster situation. So the equipments, if they are not properly maintained, like your self-contained breathing apparatus and gas mask, or the other equipments which are necessary for rescue and recovery work, if they are not properly maintained, then they cannot meet the emergency. And rescue train personnel among employed personnel. So the people who are working in the mines, who are employed in the mines, they are trained for the rescue operation. So the rescue trained personnel among employed persons are very less, and some people are not willing to carry out the rescue operations in the underground mines because of fear of their life. Then rescue service providers to be encouraged. So the rescue service providers, who are the people who provides the rescue service? The rescue station, the rescue room, they provide the rescue and recovery work in your mines. So you should encourage them by providing them enough money to carry out the rescue operation in your mines in case of an accident. And you should have a database management. Everything, all data should be all data should be available with you. Proper database management should be there in your hand, so that in emergency you can contact the people. There should be proper communication system and transport. You should be able to communicate to the people. You should be able to go from one place to other place. Communication system, transport system should be there, and media management, because in case of any accident, in case of any accident, so the media people will come, the newspapers, the TV people, they will come and gherav you to get the information. So you should have proper media management. There are some protocols missing protocol and skill for rescue and recovery. So in the case of open cast mines, the spoil dump failure and flow of fluid material, so the missing protocols are there in the rescue and recovery work. Surface fire spread over a large area. If any fire has taken place on this surface, which has spread over a large area, you don't have a protocol, rescue and recovery operation. Structural failure of a large surface installation. If any surface structure has failed, then you don't have a protocol to restore the structure. Tunnel collapse. If any tunnel is collapsed, then you don't have a protocol to go for rescue and recovery. Rescue of trapped persons below ground. Inside the mine, if any person is trapped, you don't have a proper protocol to go for rescue operation below ground. Inrush, high quantity of water. If there is a very heavy inrush of water to your mine, you don't have proper rescue and recovery operation in your mine. And in India, there is a national disaster management authority is there in Delhi. So the National Disaster Management Authority is yet to recognize disasters in the mines. So these are some of the shortcomings in our rescue and recovery work, which is being carried out in our Indian mines. So what are the strategies you should take for improvement of rescue and recovery work? Mines in India vary in size, management type, ownership, and another factors. So Indian mines, the size of the mines are not same. Different mines are having different sizes. They don't have the same management type. Some are private mines, some are government mines, some are small mine owners are there, ownership and other factors are there which are to be improved. One strategy for all types may not be practical. If you take one strategy for all type of mines, it may not be practical. Outsourcing of various activities in a mine has emerged as a fastest growing model of business, and this has made the matters more complex. Nowadays, all the mines authority, they are giving all the activities to the contractors. So in that case, managing the rescue and operation is a very complex phenomenon. However, there are broadly three categories of mines. In India, there are three categories of mines are there. First category is uh, characterized by committed top leadership. The first category of mines are committed to top leadership, better safety records they are having, law compliant, they are compliant to DGMS, Director General, Mine Safety, Mines Rules, Mines Laws, they follow, and they are very proactive in their own culture. So like your Coal India, the Singareni Collieries Company Limited, Tata Mines, they are the first category of mines who are very much committed to the rules and regular follow up with the safety records in the mines. These can afford to maintain rescue services. They can provide rescue operations very nicely. And there is a second category of mines are there. Second category characterized by less committed top leadership who wish to have better safety standard but do not put sincere effort to achieve it. They are not very sincere to go for better safety standards in their minds. Acceptance that incidents happen. They accept that incident will happen in their mind and they always blame others, blame culture. Little efforts made to prevent similar incidents. So some of them can afford their own rescue services, but would not maintain in working order. So these are called the second category of mines, which are characterized by these uh, things. Then there is a third category of mines. Third category of mines are characterized by small mine owners, operated by small mine owners. They are not economically sound. They don't have enough money to go for a rescue operation. They are having apathy towards safety. They don't follow safety and regulations. They follow unsystematic mining practices. They follow unsystematic mining practices. They do not have non. They do not follow the rules and regulations, non-compliant to statutory provisions. They are having a tendency to hide the incidents. If any accident has taken place, they will hide it. Value of human life not significant for them. They do not value the human life. If somebody is dead in the mines, they ignore it. So neither these can neither afford nor maintain rescue services for their own mines. Okay, so the what we should look forward, what we should look forward for rescue operation in the mines. You should go for amendment of existing mine rescue rules. The government of India should amend the existing mines rescue rules for including protocols for other forms of disasters and permitting mine management to use service providers during emergency in your mines, in addition to their own if maintained. And they should encourage independent rescue service providers. The rescue stations, rescue rooms should be encouraged to provide rescue operation in case of emergency in your mind. And you should, the government of India should build capacity building for rescue trainers and rating of rescue trained workers and creating centers of excellence for rescue and recovery training. And this National Disaster Management Authority should come forward to help in building protocol and capacity in the mines. So these are the things the government of India should look forward for providing proper safety and proper rescue operation in the mines. So this rescue and recovery work is very, very important for any mining operation, because whenever you are operating the mines, in the underground coal mines, see, the underground coal mines are always associated with methane gas. Underground coal mines are always associated with methane gas. So if there is methane in your mines, so methane explosion is going to take place in your mines. So methane explosion, if going to take place, then the mine will face the disaster. And if in case of explosion in your mines, so some people who are working inside the mine, they will face problem. Some of them may die, some of them may be trapped, some in the. So if the incident has taken place, if the disaster has taken place, then you have to call the rescue team. The rescue team, they should immediately arrive at the rescue station to uh, look into the problem in your mines. So the first, I have told you that if any incident has taken place in your mines, immediately you should call the rescue train people. You should call the rescue train people who will come to your mine and rescue the people who are trapped inside the mine. Some of them may be living, or some of them might have died inside the mine because of the explosion. But your job is to locate the place where the accident has taken place. And if some people are trapped inside the mine, they should be taken out to the surface. Their lives should be saved. So this job is not carried by any ordinary person. It is to be carried out by the rescue trained people. So that therefore, uh, in your mind, and sufficient number of people should be given training how to carry out the rescue and recovery work in the mines. So what is rescue and what is recovery? What is opening of the mines? Uh, Suppose explosion has taken place or fire has taken place. Suppose explosion has taken place and fire has taken place inside your mine. So immediately the people who are trapped inside the mine, they will be taken out from the mine and taken to a safe place. Their lives should be saved. So this is called your rescue operation. But what is recovery? Then if there is fire inside the mine is totally closed down. Till the fire is extinguished, the mine is totally closed down. So the mine is closed down for 1 month, for 2 months, because of the fire. But after the fire is extinguished, after 1 month or after 2 months, then you have to go for opening the mine. So the opening of the mine is done by the trained people, rescue trained people. Opening of the mine is done by the rescue trained people. Ordinary people cannot go to the mine if any accident has taken place. So the reopening of the mine. So the mine is to be reoperated. The people should be again sent to the underground mines for carrying out the mining operations, which is called your recovery work. Recovery of the mining operations, reopening of the mining operations. So you should be very clear about what is rescue, what is recovery, what is reopening of the mines. Okay. So these operations are carried out by the rescue train people, by the rescue station, So in every mine, in every mine, in every underground coal mine, there is chances of explosion, there is chances of fire, because coal mine is always associated with fire. Why? Because we have discussed that because of the auto oxidation tendency of the coal, the spontaneous combustion of coal takes place. spontaneous combustion of coal or spontaneous heating of coal takes place. So because of the spontaneous heating of coal, so the fire will be there. Coal mine fire will be there. So if coal mine fire is there, so the entire mine will be filled up with fire, smoke, and flame. So if any worker is working inside the mine, they cannot come out to the surface. So unless there is a route available to come out from the mine, and the mine would be filled up with noxious gases, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrous fumes, methane gas, which is very difficult to breathe. Your breathing problem will be there, oxygen deficiency will be there. That is why the rescue train people, they carry with them the self-contained breathing apparatus, which uh, contains oxygen to survive their life. Okay, so these are the jobs carried out by the rescue train people. These are the jobs carried out by the rescue train people or rescue station people. Okay, so in case of inundation, for example, your mine is totally inundated. The mine is totally inundated. The mine is flooded with water because inside the mine there may be water pockets are there. There may be underground water pockets are there. Suppose inadvertently you punctured the water pocket, so the entire mine will be flooded with water, and the mine will be filled up with water. So all the roadways will be closed down, and the people who are working inside the mine, they cannot come out to the surface because of the flooding in the mines. So it has happened in the past in different Mahaviri Kalyari, in Chinakuri Kalyari, in different mines. The inundation has taken place, and in the recent past, uh, uh, in a mine, inundation took place, and the miners were trapped in, could not come to the surface because all the road lines are filled up with water. So the rescue team also could not go to rescue them. So therefore, the boreholes were driven from the surface to the to the place where the people are trapped. And by the help of the boreholes, the people are taken to the surface. The people who are trapped inside taken to the surface. So this is a very, very challenging job. The rescue operation is a very, very challenging job. You have seen the fire station is there. So you, in case of any fire, so you call the fire station people. They come and extinguish the fire. You and I cannot go and extinguish the fire. The fire station people are trained how to deal with fire, and uh, in case of fire, you call them. They come with fire extinguishers. They are equipped. They are equipped with fire extinguishing devices and dresses, and they go and carry out the firefighting operation. So this is called your rescue and recovery work. This is called the rescue and recovery work. So in this semester, your subject was, what was the subject we have discussed in this semester? The subject was mine hazards, underground mine hazards, and rescue and recovery work. Um, Mine hazards and rescue and recovery. These are the three different topics we have discussed in this semester. So, underground mine rescue and recovery. There are three modules in this syllabus. There are three modules in this syllabus. In the first module, we have discussed different type of hazards associated with underground mining. The different type of hazards which we have discussed are underground mine fire, spontaneous heating of coal, spontaneous combustion of coal, we have discussed, and we have discussed methane explosion, coal dust explosion, we have discussed inundation, roof fall, side fall, different type of hazards in the underground mines. Besides that, the other type of hazards which we have discussed, because of the seismic activities, because of ground movement, because of strata movement, coal mine bombs, rock bursts, outburst of coal and gas. All these things we have discussed in the first module, which is called your mine hazards, underground mine hazards. Then in the second module, we have discussed the rescue operations, which is being carried out by the rescue team members. The rescue operation is carried out by the rescue team member. We have discussed the rescue team members. Six in a team of rescue team members. Six people are involved in a rescue team, rescue station. So rescue team members, six members are there. One is called the captain. Second one is a gas man, a stretcher man. Third man is a stretcher man, a map man who draws the map and plans of the mine, and there is a tail man who remains at the tail and communicates with the base press air base person. So at the press air base, there is a press air officer, and from the press air, the communication is given to the control room at the surface. So this is the structure. This is the structure followed for rescue operation in the mines. Rescue operation is carried out by the help of the rescue trained people, by the help of the rescue station located in your mines, located near to your mines. Then lastly, the recovery, rescue and recovery. The recovery work is being carried out again by the rescue trained people. In case of any accident, in case of any disaster, the mine is closed for 1 month, for 2 months. So after 2 months, upon your mind, go inside your mind, and they will carry out the rescue operation. So mine hazard, mine rescue, mine reopening, mine recovery. These are the terms associated, which is called your underground mine hazards and rescue operations. I am sure the class, the deliberation which I have delivered during these classes, you must have understood what is a mining hazard, what is a mining rescue and recovery. These things, the last module, there is the rescue and recovery work. Last I am going to discuss in the 2 weeks time, 1 week time, or next 2 weeks time. Classes will be held next week. I will discuss the last module of this subject, and I wish all of you a very pleasant study and pleasant stay during this COVID tension. We are away from each other, not able to see our face each other. I could have given better justice to you by teaching this subject more effectively in the blackboard, in the classroom. But because of this situation, because of this coronavirus situation, pandemic situation, because of life risk, we are away from each other. But I have tried my level best to communicate the knowledge, whatever I am having, to explain the subject to you. I am hopeful that you must have enjoyed this subject, and you must have understood the basic philosophy of this subject, fundamentals of this subject, technology of this subject, and I wish you a very happy time ahead. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.